Here we are again, folks. It's been such a pleasure. This is yet another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary, and this one is in response to a comment I received from Max Schutz. Some of you might know him as DJ MixDoctor, at DJ_MixDoctor on Twitter. He says, okay, you say that the Pyro's responsibility is to stop by to spy check, but I was told in another video of the Pyro's needs to protect the medic, at least in Highlander games. So which of these is correct? Well, they're both correct, depending on what strategy you're trying to go for. Let's say we're playing Granary. Okay? The engineer's typical loadout, or at least for me, is PyroEngie on mid, PyroEngie on second and last, and I'm talking about when I'm on red and I'm going against blue, or vice versa. It doesn't matter, but I'm talking about take it from me playing on red and going against blue. So we're talking about mid, blue's second, and blue's last.
I think we have too many NGs.
You would want the Pyro to stay with the medic as much as possible during that type of gameplay. And mind you, Granary is a control points map. You would want the Pyro to stay with the medic as much as possible to spy check, because you want to avoid that medic getting backstabbed and dropping Uber. Yes, there are other factors which can cause him to drop Uber. Maybe running over sticky trap, maybe getting sniped. But the Pyro is there to spy check, deflect rockets, or deflect stickies and nades. That's a valid strategy. Now, what you could do is a strategy that I like to call, and this is going to sound weird, as well as a name for another strategy, which I'll tell you in a minute. This strategy is called Combat Axe. Sounds weird, no? You've got your PyroEngie, and you've got your Pyro using a back burner and an extinguisher. Back burner is good if your Pyro is able to get in there and get those burns from the back side of his target. The extinguisher will mini crit. Is it mini crit or crit? I can't remember. The target as long as they are on fire. There's a fire axe. I can't remember. It's one of the two. Anyways, the Pyro stays with the medic, and they stay with the combo, in this case, the heavy and the demo. So that's a good majority of your team right there. That's where most of your power will be. That's why you want to protect that medic as much as possible, because the more he drops, the less overall heals he's going to get during that round, and the less Ubers he's going to get.
Okay, Uber's up.
And Ubers are insanely important. Crits, if your medic is running crits, they are important, but if he's running Uber, it's much more important that he does not die, because you need that Uber to be able to push through a point. Now, the other point, which I mentioned in my video, and Max brings up in his comment, is the fact of the responsibility that the Pyro spy check for the engineer. Like I said, the Pyro is built to spy check, but In this case, we're going to use a strategy called, and again, this is going to sound really bizarre, Turtle Wrecker.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
So you've got your engineer, and in my case, my loadout is typically the Force of Nature. No, sorry, Frontier Justice, Jag, for that increased build speed. The
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
and some other weapon.
I'm just not really
Oh,
feeling
and the
it with
pistol.
PyroEngies.
On occasion, I'll switch the pistol out for the Wrangler. Usually that's at third on a map like Badwater Basin. But that's digressing from the point at hand. My point is, you have your engineer set up, or your engineer set up rather, and he's got his camp all happy and working. And yeah, his gun could be sniped. Yeah, his gun could be knocked out by nades, rockets, an uber heavy, an uber scout, which strangely enough that has happened to me. Don't ask me how. But one of the main problems an NG has is dealing with spies. So let's say the spy comes up, backstabs the NG, and saps his gun. What you want to have happen is that pyro come around, set the spy on fire, and with 2 whacks of the home wrecker, remove the sapper. Because the home wrecker actually does have that ability. Hence the name of the strategy, Turtle Wrecker. That is a completely valid strategy where the pyro kind of stays back to help the engineer. So it depends on what your team wants out of you. Hence the name of the original commentary, think before you play. Because to have a team with 6 engineers and no pyros against a team of all spies, which again has happened to me, is not fun. Now, you won't get that in Highlander, which, by the way, my Highlander team is North American Iron Blue. You can add me on Steam if you wish to scrim. But, they're both valid strategies. It just depends on what your team wants to do. Where I would use the combat axe strategy. Let's take I said Granary, but let's take the map we're playing on right now, Badwater. I would use that if I were on blue attacking. Stick that sentry far up, as far ahead as possible to probe and kind of push the enemy back slightly, not that much, because remember, that mini sentry only has 100 health, so it will die quickly to a pyro, to rockets, to a heavy, but it can take out a scout. It's pretty much auto aim for a scout, you gotta admit that. And I usually try to avoid, at least on Badwater Basin, because I haven't worked out a specific strategy for dealing with teleporters just yet, because it seems by the time I get it built up, the spawn has moved and I have to move the entrance and the exit, and it just creates a giant mess. Now let's flip to the other side and let's talk about attacking. which I'm doing right now, and we're coming to the end of the match. So before, my sentry was up top. That didn't work so well. So I've got my sentry down here, kind of chilling out, guarding. Eventually, I'll move it over to the corner behind the cart. Now, I'm just going to flip back to attacking for a sec. The rock wall across from where I am right now, I'll usually set my sentry up there, between the deck and the door, kind of midway, to, again, sort of probe and sort of push back the enemy. But remember, like I said, that mini sentry only has 100 health. So, think of strategies that work for you and work for your team. Just don't go, oh, I'm going to play spy and backstab all the people and win. That doesn't quite work. So, with that said, that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and until next time, good gaming.